Welcome to the Recovery Evolution podcast, where people in abstinent-based recovery share their strength, hope and experience, whilst also sharing the soundtrack to their lives, the music and songs that accompanied them on their life and recovery journey. Recovery Evolution, the recovery revolution. Keep an open mind.
Welcome to another podcast of East Coast Recovery Radio. My name's Lester. I'm here tonight with Matt Coe, who's working on the sound and presenting the music. And
hello.
We've invited a friend of ours called Graham to come along. He told us to tell you he's a famous actor.
Very famous, Lester.
He's from Scotland. It's not his fault. He was born that way.
Yeah.
So please forgive the accent. Is that racist? Then we're allowed to get away with that?
I think we can just get away with that at the moment.
How uptight are we?
Yes,
not
probably in
at all.
about a year's time, this will never be able to go out.
Yeah, but you can call it culture.
I apologise for that. Then
it's just envious of my culture.
I just wonder if it would be worth, Graham just giving a little bit about his resume about what, because he's been in some incredible stuff.
Been in some amazing
you just want to say what you've
productions.
been in, Graham.
Yeah.
Let's get it out of the way and then we can get on.
Well, I don't know if I've got enough time. So, obviously, my CV includes River City, which is a fantastic soap opera based in Scotland. I've had 3 different parts in that over the space of 6 months and 3 different characters, and nobody noticed that it was the same one. Outlander, very small part in Outlander.
Scottish again, Scottish?
Yeah, very Scottish, yeah. I might be getting typecast in this.
There's a theme going there, isn't there?
I'm not
He
sure.
only does one accent.
Yeah. One of Us, BBC drama, played a prison officer in that, Scottish. What else have I been in? I was in a Bollywood film. I was a Scottish policeman in that.
But they dubbed over you.
They dubbed over dub and subtitles. My biggest speaking part ever. And they dubbed over me. But I still got paid, and that's all that matters.
Praise the Lord.
Yes, and there's lots of other things as well. I mean, there's too numerous
Too many dimensions.
We'll be here all day, wouldn't
Well, there's going to be more. Anyway, mate, we like this podcast is about your recovery, but also your life and some of the music that you've listened to in your life, and trying to mash them up a little bit.
Yeah.
So we like to start with sort of an introduction of you, sort of telling us sort of where you come from, your sort of early years. Just begin sort of telling us a bit about your life.
Yeah. Well, as you said earlier on, I'm Scottish. Strange thing about being Scottish is that the further you're away from home, the more Scottish you become.
Start singing about it, don't you?
Yeah. I don't know where these heather-covered hills are, but I love them. That and eating short.
Craze them.
Yeah, I've looked everywhere for them. I can't find them. I was born in Grangemouth, which is right in the middle between Glasgow and Edinburgh. Very industrial area. Really only renowned for a couple of things, which is at that time was BP and the ICI, big chemical works. A bit of a Glasgow overspill. A lot of guys came from Glasgow when the shipyards closed down. And I think even now, looking back, none of my mates we never got knocked down when we were walking to school because of the chemicals round about us. We glowed orange in the dark. So
it explains a lot.
It does, yeah. So none of my mates got knocked down, but a lot of them have died now because of the chemicals, and a lot of them have got cancer. And I think they're not even looking at that. So I grew up there. I think at different times in my life, I would say I had a fantastic upbringing, and other times I would say it wasn't so good. The truth of the matter is it was the best it could be. And my parents loved me the best they could be. Got a young brother, and they gave us everything that they could, and the best way that they knew how. Who's it for me to judge and say it was right or wrong? I'm just grateful that I had it, and I had a pretty uneventful life when I was growing up. And my memories are being on the beach with my dad, going to football with my dad. And as I grew up, I had aspirations to be a professional football player, but academically I was all right as well. No real. I went to school every day. I liked going to school. I didn't have a problem with it. I liked going to school. I had my mates. I played football. that was it. My mum and dad had their own businesses, so they spent a lot of time away. But again, that's not a criticism. That's just a fact. They did what they thought was the right thing to give us everything we wanted. I didn't need to ask my dad for one pair of boots. I would get 2 pairs of football boots. He never came and watched me playing, and that's the thing that I remember. He never came to watch me, but he did what he thought was right. You know, if I wanted a pair of Puma Kings, I got 2. So I never had to want for anything really. And I spent a lot more time with my granny and my grandpa than I did with my mum and dad. But that's not a bad thing either. They're nice people, good morals, and a good way of teaching your kids things. And it was all right. I think if you'd asked me that 6-7 years ago, I'd have said it was dysfunctional, or it was part of what made me. And the truth of the matter is that is not true. And I'm grateful for what I had. Now, today, I can look back and see that. I lost my mum 20 odd years ago, and I found that quite tough. I think my relationship with her was a bit stronger than it was with my dad's, or different. Maybe not stronger, but different. But yeah, it was cool. It was good fun.
How would you say you was as a child, like sort of emotionally
quiet?
like
Jealous,
shy sort of thing, or
no,
fearful?
wasn't shy. No, wasn't shy at all. Very fearful, frightened kid. One of my earliest memories, maybe 8, 9, 10. I remember lying in bed, being really scared of the dark, and having this claustrophobic feeling that the walls were closing in on me, and that strange feeling of when you just about fall asleep, and that relief.
Or when you catch yourself falling asleep.
Yeah, but it's the relief. So you're sitting fighting that sleep, desperate to go to sleep, and all of a sudden you feel your body just relaxing and you go to sleep. And that, I remember that first night feeling that, and then the next night wanting to get the same feeling. Not the feeling of the fear, but the feeling of the relief.
Yeah.
So changing the way that I feel. So from a very young age, but I was on the outside, I could fit in with the sporty guys, the academic guys. At that time, I'm growing up, 1976, 77, the punk scene's just exploding. So I've got these different masks that I can fit in, and I'm a model son. And I've got a younger brother that's out, doesn't go to school, fighting in the street, running about, causing trouble, and I'm sitting there going to school every day, getting my qualifications, to get my O levels, school colours for football, school colours for this, playing for these guys, and I'm jealous of him because he's getting all the attention, and I'm the good guy, and I'm going, well, how's he getting all the attention? So that's what I remember. I remember that being desperate to please my mum, wanting that attention from my mum, yet he was getting all the attention for all the wrong reasons, but it didn't matter to me. I wanted it.
Do you think then there was a bit of an attention deficit,
Totally.
in the sense, from your mum?
No, I don't think she was at fault. I think it was me. I think it's that. And again, I can see this now, not at the time, but looking back now and looking at what I've learned about myself, I can look back and say, my mum adored me. She did. She loved me to bits. And I would like to think that getting up in the morning, getting myself ready, whether I was going to school, through my teenage years and going to school and doing well at school, going out on a Tuesday and a Thursday football training, playing on a Saturday, doing all that stuff, getting that recognition was never enough. But it was there, but I never saw it. All I saw was my household focusing on my brother. That's all I saw. Wasn't there? It's not true, but that's what I saw and that's what I felt.
So you had that feeling of unsatisfaction
Yeah, never enough.
of anything
No.
at that age?
Clothes, football boots. If I got school colours for 1, I wanted 2. If I got 5 O levels, I wanted 7. Attention for girls. Always. There's a blonde one, I need a blonder one. There's a tall one, I need a taller one. And that continued not just from the school, 15, 16, 17. That continued right the way through in my 20s and and further. Always.
Yeah.
But just that attention. I wanted people to see me, but I didn't want them to see me. I want people to see what I'm showing you, but I don't want you to see inside.
Because you weren't feeling good enough?
Yeah, never. Wasn't good enough. Wasn't playing well enough. Didn't get enough of this. Didn't get enough of that. So that's always saying not good enough to do this.
Yeah. So again, I'm not trying to get too counsely about this. But
No, it's all right.
It's just interesting because again, one of the parts of this is just sort of trying to see the patterns in all the people that we interview with this problem. But so I guess that would be sort of known as a sort of a low self-esteem problem.
Absolutely.
Matt, you're a trained therapist. Can you concur?
Sounds like a low self-esteem problem to me.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'll take that box.
Certified then.
Yeah, that's me done.
So
I'm
you have
happy
low
then.
self-worth then.
Yeah, totally.
But so why do you think that? Do you need a sort of rational reason for that? Or
None.
None. It was just kind of there from a young age.
Yeah, and is it a symptom of the disease that I suffer from? I don't know. But what I do know is that it was something that drove me to try to be better at all times. You know,
Yeah.
I always want to do better, want more recognition, want this.
So
want
in your
that.
sort of your young mind, I guess you were probably not consciously thinking, but
No.
something was telling you that by getting more recognition or, being a good boy and doing better may make you feel good enough.
I wanted to be more loved, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and that would be an interesting kind of interlude, I guess, to go for Graham's first song, because it's called "So Lonely" by The Police, and so I'll read this off here, and then I'm going to get Graham to explain, as he does so well. "So Lonely" is a song by English rock band The Police, released as the third and final single in November 1978 from their debut studio album, Outlandos D'Or. Is it D'Or?
To the more, yeah.
That's the one.
That's not Scottish, that's French.
That's actually French. Well done. 1978, because now you can do French, Indian, and Scottish, can't you?
Poorly.
Yeah, well done. and again in February 1980 as a re-release. Sting admitted that he used Bob Marley's "No Woman No Cry" as the basis for this song. He said, "People thrashing out three chords didn't really interest us musically. Reggae was accepted in punk circles and musically more sophisticated, and we could play it, so we veered off in that direction. I mean, let's be honest here, So Lonely was unabashedly culled from No Woman No Cry by Bob Marley. Same chorus. What we invented was this thing going back and forth between thrash, punk and reggae. That was the little niche we created for ourselves." That was from Sting in the year 2000. So, Graham, why this song?
I think that what Sting says about that reggae part of it, and I'm a big fan of The Clash. The Police came along, and it was a little bit more commercial, but it was not as dirty as punk. So I loved the attitude of punk, but I was too vain to spike up my hair too much, and I wanted to be a good looking punk. I didn't want to be a grungy punk. I wanted to be one, and the Police did that. So the Police came along and they got the combats on, and they've got the blonde spiky hair, and they've got a wee bit of reggae music, but they've got that attitude. And his voice when he's singing "So Lonely" is what was screaming inside me.
Yeah.
Because I was.
Okay, let's listen to this track then.
Hi guys, thanks for listening to our podcast. I'm sorry to say, due to copyright law, we cannot play the music. We found the combination of testimony, music and interviews such a therapeutic way for someone to share their recovery journey that we decided to carry on with the format. Sorry if you're as disappointed about the music as we are. Thank you. So it's a great tune by The Police that reminded me of just starting out in my secondary school, and again I can identify with a lot of the feelings that you're talking about, but you want to sort of expand then. So how old would you have been then?
17, 18, around about that, yeah.
So that was a time, I guess you're saying that you're sort of feeling lonely, and I guess the sort of time in your life is quite important, isn't it, when you're leaving school and going out into the world, and it's a big change.
I think change is, any change at that point is going to be difficult. It's how you manage that change, but unless you've got the experience and the knowledge to do that, you're going to struggle. So just get on with it as best you can.
Yeah.
And try to. For me, it was about blocking out those emotions as best I could, and focusing on trying to focus on the good stuff and pretending that I was okay.
Yeah. So I think psychology, they kind of like, they talk about sort of the ages 5, is it 11, 16 and 21, because I think they're...
Well, it's every 7 years, so 7, 14, 21.
But you also go through quite big changes.
Yeah.
So if you have issues in the first few years, then they're going to keep compounding, and by the time you're 21, you've got a basket case on your hands.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they say that, do they, Matt?
Not now.
Is that not a clinical term?
I never went to college. I don't know the terms. And I think a lot of people sort of concur with that. So from 17, what was you? Where was you at? What was you doing?
So I left school. I still had these aspirations to play professional football, but I had to get a job. So when I left school, I was quite fortunate. I went to work for a local company, who after a couple of years put me on a management development programme. I got a pretty bad knee injury when I was 17, which put me out of the game for about 18 months. And despite everything that I told myself, that physically I recovered very, very well, as you do at that age. Physically I recovered okay, but mentally that fear of getting injured again, because it was pretty painful, so it lived with me for the next 15 years. I could use that as an excuse for not fulfilling all my dreams and ambitions, but the truth of the matter is that I probably wasn't good enough anyway. You know, as far as the skill level was concerned, I certainly didn't have the dedication, I didn't have the heart. I had a bit of skill, had a bit of ability, and I made the most of that to the best I could. But again, it was about looking good. For me, it was always about looking good. It was always about looking the part and want people to look at me, but no see me. And so even when I was playing football and I'm kicking a ball up there at Clydebank or wherever it was, you know, there might be 400, 500 people, 2,000 people, and I would hear the one shout that was directed at me from that crowd. One voice. I'd hear that. No, that was a crap pass, or that was a poor tackle, or what are you doing? I would hear that. I wouldn't hear anything else. So I tried to make the best of that, but I focused on my career and tried to make a life for myself. And I was very fortunate. I got put in this management development programme with a big company, and I ended up going down south. Managed to play football down south. Came back up to Scotland. It was a great time. I was running about all over the country. I was in York for about 6 or 7 months. Played at Scarborough. I was just a guy. I was just a young boy having a bit of fun, you know. But quite happy to not be settled in one place and not really give anybody the opportunity to get to know me too well, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe even running away from myself at those times. But I don't. Maybe that's a bit too deep. And looking back at it, maybe that's not the case. I just went with the flow, I think. Always looking for more.
Yeah, you can't go too deep for us.
No, I can't.
We like deep.
Aye.
But so where was your drinking then? Sort of at this point, it was sort of all manageable. Just sort of looked like a normal lad.
Absolutely. So it was a Saturday. So not during the week. Nothing at all like that. Right all the way through until I kicked my last ball when I was 27 or 28. So it was Tuesday night training, Thursday night training, playing on a Saturday, out on a Saturday night. That was it.
Yeah. And then what happened in your life in regards to family and career? And
so
I guess that was quite a turning point for you at that point.
Yeah, so really for me it was normal. You know, I had plenty of girlfriends, some short term, some long term. My mum and dad were cool. I managed to buy a wee flat, and then I sold that and bought a bigger one, and then, you know, just tried to better myself every now and again. Didn't find anybody that wanted to be mad enough to marry me, but carried on and carried on, and no real dramas, you know. As you say, normal drinking, nothing at all that would have made me stand out from the crowd. At that time, I was changing the way I felt by. For me, it was about clothes, it was about cars, but it was always, you know, polishing the car every week, every 2 days, having a blacker car, having a bigger car, having a nicer suit, having a leather suit, getting my hair cut differently, you know, again standing out and changing the way that I felt using things as opposed to a substance.
Yeah.
Because that still worked. So getting myself a new car would be cool. Polishing the car would be cool. It'd make me feel better. Getting some new clothes would be cool. Make me feel better. Getting a new girlfriend would make me feel better. Getting a new flat.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The more times we do this as well, and you listen to people talking as you're talking, and it's like, you know, how much of this that you're explaining now, because you've got an understanding of it, how much of that understanding is since you've come into recovery? Because you're talking
all of it.
All of it. I was now going to say, at the time, did you have any awareness
None
that you were
whatsoever.
change your feelings?
None whatsoever.
How many years you been in recovery now?
2009 was when I first rocked into Lowestoft train station and with a bag.
Yeah.
And
You've been on the path, plodding along.
Yeah. Been a journey and a half. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
Do you know, and I want to introduce the next track, actually, because where we're going with this story, because Graham obviously spoke to us before we pressed record as well, so I've got some awareness of what this song means to you, but I want to get Graham to explain it. But I think we're starting to go into that area of your life, or we're now about to anyway. Out of all the songs you asked us to be able to play, this is the one that I'd never heard, to be honest with you. I'd never even heard of the band, to be honest with you. And funny enough, Lester had.
Silencers.
The Silencers.
Yeah, I was in Canada and in a little shop in somewhere in Victoria, a little record shop. I went in and was rummaging through, and I think it was called Dance of the Holy Man is what probably got my attention, and I pulled that out. So you're the only other person that I've ever met that even knows the band.
Yeah, I confess I'd never heard.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not. No, it's not a compliment for the Silencers.
It's a coincidence.
Yeah.
So this particular track is called When the Night Comes Down, like I say, by the Silencers, and they're a Scottish rock band formed in London in 1986 by Jimmy O'Neill and Char Burns, two ex-members of the post-punk outfit Fingerprints. Their music is characterised by a melodic blend of pop, folk and traditional Celtic influences, often compared to Scottish bands with a similar sound like Big Country, Delamitri and the Proclaimers. The Silencers have distinguished themselves with their eclectic sounds, prolific output and continued career. Their first single, Painted Moon, was a minor international hit and invited critical comparisons to Simple Minds and U2. In 1987 they released their first album, which was called A Letter from St Paul, which included Painted Moon and another minor hit, I See Red. Buoyed by the huge European hit Bulletproof Heart, the band's third album, Dance to the Holy Man, is the band's commercial peak to date. Throughout the 1990s, the Silencers saw a popular taste shift away from their songwriter-based style of music towards grunge and electronic music. So why this track then, Graham?
It's just dark. It's just dark. That's it, man. So this represents that time when, you know, I'm on my own, and there's lines in the song about, you know, glass castles and building castles and shattered dreams, and, you know, there's a couple of lines in there that are just resonate for me, and, you know, it represents that part where I believe that everything that I'd been doing before to change the way that I felt stopped working.
Yeah.
Just didn't work anymore, and at this point I'm drinking at night time because I can't sleep, and the night comes down, and that's when the demons are there, and you're thinking about all the things that you're going to do, and you're going to change the way you are, and you're going to build this castle of glass. And, you know, that line in there that they talk about the guys, you know, dancing and marching to a different tune tonight, and then the guys are melting their lives in the kitchen spoon tonight, I think is just it's just dark and dreary, but it's a great tune.
And that's where you were at the time?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's check this cheery little number out then.
Recovery Evolution, the recovery revolution. Keep an open mind.
Well, thanks for that, Graham. That really
cheered us up.
Yeah.
Dancing around the table.
but the good thing, I like that music. I do like that, and again, even myself finding that album at a deep time in my life, and some of it I really related to, and I played it to a lot of people, but I don't think anyone else bought the album.
I think I've bought it, so that's 2.
But it is definitely a music you can connect to.
Yeah.
So, I guess we got to a point where your sort of life's sort of starting to take a different direction and it's going on a decline.
Yeah, for me inside, I think it's getting worse, and externally you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely no idea whatsoever.
So it was like a definite kind of leading a double life then?
Totally, yeah. So, yeah, I could be sitting at home, as you say, drinking and sobbing my eyes out to that, but to the outside world, I'm cool, man. You know, I'm successful. You know, I've got a good job. You know, I've got a house. What
was you doing?
At that point, I'd have been the sales manager for a timber merchants, national, probably the biggest in the UK at the time. Yeah, I was travelling all over the UK. I was in Finland 2 or 3 times. You know, everything's just handed to you on a plate. It was great. You know, I'm the man. You know, I'm the man, and I suppose I still don't have the ability to have those relationships at all. Really, it's everything's short term. So you know, I've not settled down. I've not got a wife. I've not got a family. But I'm all right. I'm cool because I've got a Gucci suit and a nice motor. All right, man. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. See you later. And I've got a great job and a nice watch.
So sort of the superficial quick fixes
all the time, constantly.
What kind of age are we talking about now, Graham? When things started to take a decline?
So I think I would have been. I'd have been 30ish about that time. So I didn't get married till I was 35, I think.
So you mentioned just a little while ago that it was like late 20s when you kicked your last ball, and then when you stopped training and playing, you start to increase your drinking.
So I remember I got the same injury again for the 3rd time, and I remember them saying to me, "Look, you ain't going to kick a ball again if you don't get this fixed properly. You're going to walk with a walking stick." And I'm going, "Yeah, right, no chance." Yeah. I was in plaster from my hip to my ankle for 14 weeks. And that was pretty crap.
Oh shit!
But it was all right because the guy next door used to go to the shop and buy me beer because he thought that would cheer me up. And I think for me that memory is when I first picked up. For me, I picked up a drink. I had nothing to do, man. I would, I pick a couple of beers. That'll knock me out because I can't sleep. So I've got a house that's got upstairs, and I find it difficult to get upstairs. That's all right, I'll sleep on the sofa. I'll put the TV on. You know, at that time it was videos. You know, go and get 100 videos and sit and watch those. So that at that point it was I think I was missing an awful lot. I still was determined I was going to make a comeback. Till I went to the hospital and they took the cast off. They said to me, "We'll put you on a gurney and we'll take you along to see the physiotherapist." And I went, "Oh yeah." And at that point I'm thinking I'm still cool. I've got a pair of shorts on and I'm still thinking I'm a good guy, and I think all the nurses are looking at me because I'm pretty cool, and this guy's putting a needle into my kneecap and the tears are running down my face. It's not a cool look, man. Went along to see the physiotherapist and I swung my leg over to step down and ended up in a heap on the floor because I had no power at all left in my left leg. So still didn't want to give up. I thought, nah, I'll be all right. Give me a walking stick, it'll be cool. But I think that was a big change in my life. And that maybe that part where I was getting that self-esteem and that recognition, that was gone. Maybe I don't know. Now looking back at it,
so then what did you have any recognition of what you were kind of left with emotionally? Then
no,
sort of
not at the time. So at the time, I'm oblivious to this. I think, well, it's okay. Everything will be fine. Everything will be okay. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Which you did. So you've gone on and, like you say, then eventually you met someone, got married.
Yeah, I met Lorna. Yeah, I think I was about 33 or something like that. And even at that point, I'd still probably have 2 or 3 beers every night. And then in 1997, in July, my mum died. And I was working for a massive big builders merchants at the time. And for me, I think that was the point where I stepped over the line. Came back, funnily enough, I'd been in Norwich.
And you married with kids at the time?
No, I just married, no
married.
kids. Yeah, not long married. Lorna and I had run away to Gretna Green to get married. Didn't run away, we just went in there because it was quicker.
Sounds good.
It was quicker and easier. And yeah, so Lorna, we'd had a couple of miscarriages and stuff like that, which was pretty hard going, but we got married anyway and it was cool, but still at that point. And then I got off an aeroplane and it's just strange. And these things, I found it difficult to comprehend at first, but I actually was on a flight from Edinburgh to Norwich. And I got off the aeroplane at Norwich. There was somebody there to pick me up. I switched on my mobile phone. And it was my boss in Glasgow saying, "Tell this guy to take you straight to Stansted. Your mum's been taken to hospital. I can't tell you how serious it is, but there'll be a ticket waiting for you to fly back up the road." And the guy just drove me to Stansted, and I think I waited there for about 4 hours, 5 hours, trying to phone home. Obviously nobody answers because they're all at the hospital. Trying to phone the ICU, they didn't want to answer, don't want to tell you anything. I think I arrived back in Scotland about 7 o'clock at night and drove from Edinburgh straight to the hospital, and my mum had a stroke, massive brainstem stroke, and they said she ain't going to make it through the night. And 7 weeks later she was still there.
7 weeks later?
7 weeks later she was still there. I went to see her every morning and every night. She never regained consciousness. They took her off the breathing stuff and all the rest of it. But that night I went home and I went to see my mum, picked Lorna up, went straight to off licence and bought a couple of bottles of wine and went home and sat at home in tears. And for me that was a turning point.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a very traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Your mum dying. But that age, did you sort of look a bit deeper into that again? You don't have to answer. But what you think it was in you that made that that experience bring on?
Yeah, inability to deal with my emotions.
But you've been able to deal with it up until that.
Yeah, but that at that point there, I just could not deal with that emotional frailty, if you like, that had been there for when I was 10 all the way through. I think with her being, I suppose my mum being the constant in my life and it no longer there, everything else had been taken away.
Or do you think there was some sort of dependency in a way from your mum to help you?
Yeah. I think there was that people pleasing aspect that I can look back on now, and having had come into recovery and looked at that stuff and looking to please my mum, and she's no longer there to please, and I'm going, "What am I going to do now?" Yeah, so for me that was another turning point that I was not capable of dealing with. I didn't have the tools to deal with it.
And straight away the alcohol was
that night
was there to pick up the pieces and to give
dull
you
the pain.
relief.
Takes it away the pain, doesn't it? It changes the way you feel.
And so what are you saying, that really from that point then that
it went downhill?
Did you start drinking almost every day at that point then?
Yeah, every night.
So it really was a turning point.
Yeah. So every night, and a couple of years later, my daughter's born, I'm still drinking. A couple of years after that, my son's born, and I'm still drinking right through, all the way through. Right through to 2009.
And at that time then, so maybe, say for the first year or two after your mum passes, what is your drinking like? Because you're still maintaining a job at that point, yeah?
Fantastic job. I'm great at what I do.
So you're what they kind of call a functional alcoholic at that point, would you say, or just a heavy drinker? I would just say I was a functional alcoholic, because for me that it's not about your drinking, it's about your thinking. Yeah. So I know there's all the cliches and all the stuff that comes out, and at the beginning you can be quite sceptical when you hear all this stuff, but you know what, it's true. It's nothing to do with my drinking, it's to do with my thinking. Always. And kind of like what you're saying there is almost an inability at that point to deal with anything emotional. Yeah, I couldn't deal with it. Didn't want to deal with it, wasn't able, too painful, whether it be the highs or the lows. Has that got anything to do with, I was just thinking actually about the title of your next track, and it's called Train in Vain. Yeah. And I'm just wondering if this is going to tie into what you're talking about now. So before I get you to talk about that, let me just introduce the song again and we'll get Graham to talk about it. So it's called Train in Vain by The Clash. It's a song by the British punk band called The Clash. It was released as the third and final single from their third studio album, which was called London Calling, 1979. The song was not originally listed on the album's track listing, appearing as a hidden track at the end of the album. This was because the track was added to the record at the last minute when the sleeve was already in production. Some additions include the song in the track listing. It was the first Clash song to reach United States top 30 charts, and in 2004 the song was ranked number 298 on Rolling Stones magazine's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. In the US, the song title is expanded to Train in Vain, Stand By Me, as the words Stand By Me dominate the chorus. It was titled Train in Vain in part to avoid confusion with Benny King's signature song Stand By Me. So Graham, explain this song to us.
I think there's two parts to that, and they're in the title. Train in Vain really means I was, knocking. I was trying very hard to achieve nothing because I don't know what I wanted to achieve. And there's some things in the song that talks about keeping the wolves at bay, which is a big part of the song, and the other part of it is didn't stand by me. And I don't know if I directed that at my mum or if I directed that at Lorna when I came into recovery.
Lorna was your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the night that I phoned the helpline, I played that song. And I was on my hands and knees on a wooden floor in tears with two kids up the stairs. And Lorna came in and I asked her for help. And she looked at me and said, I can't help you, and walked out of the room. And my answer to her is, you didn't stand by me. You said you loved me. But you didn't stand by me, and it's not true. So now I can say she did the best thing. She did the best thing. She wasn't able to help me. How could she possibly? She was interested in was looking after her kids because that's the right thing to do.
So this has a real powerful attachment, this song, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's the beginning.
It is. Okay, let's hear this incredible song.
Recovery Evolution, the Recovery Revolution. Keep an open mind.
So thanks for that, Graham. So your life at that point then was really coming undone, but by the sound of it, your relationships were quite strained. It was becoming very obvious that you had a problem.
Yeah,
and
obvious to everybody apart from me, perhaps.
Yeah,
but I think I knew. I just didn't want to admit it.
Yeah,
the difference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how long had that been going on for you? Where you probably should have got help before that point. Was that like the last sort of drip of people putting up with you before you come to that point? Or?
Yeah, so 2009, I got made redundant from my job. I was operations director for big builders merchants again. I'm the man. I'd held that together for 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 years, and nuclear family, 2 kids, a boy and a girl, nice house, built a house, all that stuff, papering over the cracks, always trying to give Lorna a new house, a new kitchen, a new car, all that stuff, just continue to try and buy that affection, but more importantly buy that time. So suited me to have 2 kids because they're in bed early. Lorna's tired, she goes to her bed early, I can sit and drink. Easy. And don't criticise me because look what I've given you. Yeah, you got a big house, you got 2 kids, you got a car, you don't need to worry about money. Whoa, get off my back.
That old chestnut.
Yeah. There you go. Look what I've given you.
I paid the bills.
Yeah, so don't start having a go at me. It's just a couple of beers and it just got worse and worse.
And this was mostly at home you're drinking?
Yeah, so most of my drinking would be done. As I remember, I had 5 guys that I played football with throughout my career. Not at all times, but we'd still been quite close, and I was very fortunate that the Scottish Football Association used to give me 6 tickets for every Scotland home game, and I used to take the guys to the football because I was the only one that got the tickets, so it was up to me. Every home game we went to the football, and what they didn't know is I'd have a bottle of wine before I went, and I'd have another bottle of wine after it. So during the day I probably drunk less than them because again we hide it. That's what we do. So slowly but surely coming on, it's unravelling, isn't it? and the mask is starting to fall. So I got made redundant. My choice. I asked to get made redundant because I couldn't take the pressure anymore. And the plan was, we'll have a year off. Got enough money there. We'll have a year off. Get yourself sorted out. It'll be cool. First morning, beer. So I threw out that whole summer out with my 2 kids. Always got beer in my bag, or wine in a water bottle, or whatever it is.
So all them other dependencies were kind of being taken away, and
Yeah.
one was being left.
That's it. The only one.
And so you're at that point now where you've sort of reached rock bottom, and you've got to pick up the phone and ask for help. You've done that. What
Yeah.
happened after that?
Well, I ended up in a train station in Lowestoft.
How the hell does that happen?
Well, I like to tell people it's because here at ECR it's the best in Europe. And I think the truth of the matter is because it's the furthest away from Scotland, and it was the furthest that people could get me. I think that's the real truth.
It's the end of the line.
It is pretty much. There ain't nowhere else to go, and I think it's because it's the furthest away.
It's even on the butt part of the map, isn't it?
Yeah,
Looking at it.
yeah. And I got off the train in Lowestoft thinking, how are they going to recognise me? This one drunk Scottish guy sitting in the train station at Lowestoft. And I ended up in Lowestoft, 2009.
And that's just to clarify, you hadn't ever been to a 12-step meeting or any kind of fellowship meeting? You hadn't done any form of treatment before that?
So I went to see a counsellor once a week at the hospital in Falkirk in the evening for my anxiety or depression, or to overcome the loss of my mother or whatever it was. And it was a Thursday night, and I used to go home and get a couple of bottles of wine on the way home and say to Lorna, "Yeah, counsellor says I need some me time." I used to sit in the kitchen, and she would go, "Okay, yeah." And I used to sit in the kitchen and get drunk and go to my bed.
Because I guess for most people, drinking's like normal, isn't it? It's a normal way of unwinding.
Yeah, so that was me time. So I used to sit in there and read a book. And that's, I'd never been to a 12-step meeting. I'd never asked for help.
So that was the only form of so-called assistance or help.
I'd been to the doctor.
And?
They gave me citalopram for my depression.
Standard.
Absolutely,
Standard.
yeah. Citalopram.
Did it work?
Well, it's difficult when you mix it with a couple of bottles of wine. I don't know if it does work or not. I got to finish that idea.
Did you get better? Did you get worse?
Yeah. And it says on the packet you may experience some difficulty for the first week. Yeah, well, that's okay. Yeah. Please avoid alcohol. Well, I avoided it as best I could. I put it in the kitchen and then went to the kitchen for it.
So what was it like for you then? You've arrived at East Coast Recovery, hundreds of miles away from your hometown.
Yeah.
So talk us through that. Here you are in Lowestoft in a treatment centre. You'd never been to a treatment centre
with
before.
the Sassenachs.
Yeah.
I mean, where was your head? What did you think and feel when you first came into East Coast Recovery for treatment?
Get back in the train and go home.
Quite simple.
Yep, easy. You're lost. You've got off at the wrong stop, man. Totally.
So what kept you here?
I don't know. It took me a while. No doubt about that. I think initially because I had nowhere else to go. I couldn't go back. They wouldn't have taken me back. They didn't want me back. So I think this just was the place to. I don't know. I don't know what kept me here. Maybe.
Well, we say none of us are here because of our good motives.
No.
And I'm just trying to recall, correct me if I'm wrong here, Graham, because I haven't gone look back over your time here or anything, but didn't you come here and then come back again because you really liked being around here so much?
I think that might have been the reason, but I think the real reason was that I came here for 4 weeks and went back up the road and thought I was okay.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all coming back to
I
me
I
now.
was afraid he was going to say you went home and they still did them on you.
No, they didn't. No. I arrived back in Falkirk and carried my bag round, and Lorna wouldn't let me in the front door.
How long was you here for?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah, and went to a couple of meetings, and I did. Went to a few meetings, and that was cool for about a couple of months, and then it just all fell apart again. So less than a year later, I was back down on the train.
What would have made you come back then? I guess you must have in that 4 weeks have learned something that sort of shone some light on your situation.
I was sitting at home You know, and at this point I was staying at my father's, and there was only one place that I would have come. There was options there. I could have went to hospital, could have went somewhere else, and my answer was, no, I need to go there. I need to come back to. I need to go back to ECR, because if I don't, I ain't going to make it. So get me to ECR, and whether it be because I felt at home here, whether it because I knew there was something here that drew me back.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going anywhere else. They wanted me to stay in Scotland. They wanted me to go to hospital to do a detox and all that stuff. And I said, no, I ain't doing that. Just get me back to ECR. That's it. End of. There's no ifs, buts and maybes. I need to go there.
And so what was the gap from when you left and before you came back again, Graham?
But I think about 14 months.
What was, after you'd done the initial 4 weeks,
Yeah.
what was life like?
It's all right.
And so what happened for you to end up, can you remember what happened for you to end up back here again?
Yeah. So I went back up thinking, cool, I'm sober. Everything will be okay. I'll rebuild my family. I'll get back, rebuild my relationship with Lorna and the kids and stuff like that. And the damage had been done. And I think the minute she said no, that was it. I was like, oh, cool. See you later. Went to live with my dad, and I just wrote myself a blank cheque just to do what I wanted. He wasn't particularly mobile. He wasn't great at getting about. I could pretend to be his carer, and I could have my room, and I could do what I liked. And that's what I did. Got another job. It was great, decent money. Exactly the same pattern again. Go to work, come home, get drunk, get up, go to work, come home, get drunk. Bring some food in for my dad. Go and see the kids on a Saturday. It was shit.
And so to get us back to where you're back in treatment,
Yeah.
just to kind of tick the box, I guess, or to do the bridge, is what then got you back onto your knees to get you back here?
Desperation, I think. It was either that or go and throw myself off a Forth Road Bridge. That's what I felt. And I did try that. I drove my car to the Travel Lodge, booked myself into the Travel Lodge, wrote my notes to Lorna and the kids.
Played the Silencer album.
Yeah, probably. And other cheery music, by the Smiths or something like that. Something to give you a real lift. Got drunk, fell asleep, woke up in the morning and thought, yeah, this is the one. This is the day for me. I could see the Forth Road Bridge from there. Left my car keys, walked down the stairs, thought, better have a pint before I go. Woke up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, pissed in my room again. So that was it. So I packed
Couldn't
my bag.
you get sober enough to commit suicide?
No, I couldn't walk that far.
I can also say the drink saved your life.
Yeah, I've said that at the time, but yeah, drove back and decided to smash it for 5 or 6 weeks. I think I missed, I don't know, a royal wedding or something like that, and then made the phone call and come back down here.
And so was there, when you went into treatment the second time, and you were here for a lot longer, weren't you, than 4 weeks?
Well, I
then?
never left, did I?
Yeah, not really. So when you look back at that time now, what did that kind of massive relapse and you know ending up in this hotel room wanting to commit suicide, what did that give you that you needed?
Give me that what we term the gift of desperation. So I needed to get well. The other choice wasn't an option. I couldn't even do that properly.
Was there a difference the second time
Totally.
for you? What was the difference?
Me.
And so how would that play out in reality?
I think that I learned how to be honest with myself, first and foremost. Not always, but fundamentally, that acceptance of, do you know what, you ain't got a choice here, man. This is it. It's make or break. You either do it and get involved in it and actually accept that you need some help, or you go and do your selling, which is so selfish, such a selfish thing for me to do with 2 kids. You know, why would you do that? So I was just desperate to and not even to get back to me, because that's not enough. But to get that opportunity to be reborn and get a second chance at life, which I saw, and the examples that are round about here, the people that are round about the East Coast, and the things that I was taught here, which I didn't always listen to at first, and I didn't want to believe all of them, but I wanted to believe enough to get a little bit better, and get a little bit better, and get a little bit better. And then so it sort of creeps up on you, doesn't it?
Was there like a defining moment where the light bulb went on for you in recovery?
No.
Or?
No, there wasn't a moment. There's been lots of great moments.
Yeah.
Going back up to Scotland to see my kids for the first time and getting a different reaction. That was good. That was cool. But no, I can't say I woke up one morning and thought, yeah, that's it. I'm okay now. I woke up and thought every morning and thought, I'll just try and do my best. Put my head on the pillow knowing that I've not harmed anybody. It's a big thing for me. And getting that honesty in my life so that I can say what I really feel without having to worry if I'm offending anybody, and not going out to hurt anybody, but being honest about how I feel.
And did you like enjoy your time? Did you feel in rehab, in recovery, and part of the fellowship? And is there any sort of memorable moments for you there?
So I think last year, Matt asked me a question last year. Ooh. This is not my home, Best, my spiritual home. Yeah. Lots of memorable moments. Lots of great times, lots of fun. I loved going to the car auctions. It was entertaining.
They were the days.
Yeah. Coming back to the toilet and seeing this red Datsun with not one panel on it the right way, or bashed to bits and smoke coming out the exhaust, and Lester telling me that he'd bought that. And I went, why? He went, I thought I was bidding on that motorbike there. I remember that one quite.
Oh, yeah. I was bidding on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I was bidding on the motorbike. It was a car.
Yeah. I
got that for a good price, and there's a car. What?
Then we went to pay for it, and it had a reserve on it, which we hadn't met.
Couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it.
And she said, do you want to put another 25 quid? He went, nope.
Thank you. Spiritual awakening.
So those were good. I loved that. I loved being part of the fellowship. I loved going to the meetings. I loved going through the steps. I think I had 3 steps at my step 5, but I eventually got there, and there was one moment walking back up London Road South with this iPod that I had bought, this wee MP3 player plugging in my ears, listening to, I think it was David Bowie and Diamond Dogs or something like that, walking back up, and I was going to meet the guy who was my sponsor at the time, and I was going to have this third attempt at because he sent me away after the first 2. He went, there's still something there, and I'm going, nah, there's no, man, no chance. And I'm going, well, there is, but I ain't telling him this. And walking back up, tears streaming down my eyes, big hairy jock, man, you can't be crying, what are you doing? And knowing that I was going to go on a Sunday afternoon and sit in that room in the Albany and just tell him what it was. And I went in and I told him what it was, and he went, is that it? I went, yeah. He went, well, that's it. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if I dreamt it. I don't know if I imagined it. But I've told you now. And he went, cool. So here's what you need to do. You need to go and say a prayer for that person, and it's done now, Graham. That's you. That's that dirty little secret you've held all this time since you were a kid, and it's gone. It's in the ether. It's gone. You've done it. That was a defining moment for me. But there's been lots of them. Lots of fantastic memories. I loved being down here in the winter time, down here in Wapload Road when we were first setting up in the garage here, watching Saul paint the floor, the red floor out there, and paint himself into a little box that he couldn't get out of. He's not going to like me for reminding him of that, but I thought, well, you're there till it dries, man. I'm away for a coffee and a fag. I'll see you when I come back. And he just stood there and went, that's what you thought about it. So all those things, and play football for I kicked a ball for the first time when I was here for 10, 12 years. We weren't very good at that point. So we were worse than that.
Yeah, we were like almost going into the special league.
We would have struggled in that. But we went every Friday night. And we eventually won our first game against the police.
Against the cops.
Yeah, we beat them 12-11.
Motivated them to win.
Yeah, we beat them 12-11. I think
there was a lot of sore ankles for the police as well.
Yeah, that was pretty sore that day. Funny thing is, strange again, all these things that we talk about coincidences, which I don't believe in, but I believe that God instances are there. I don't think they're coincidences. And that first night that we won our first game in this lowest league and lowest off, but we won our first game, and that was my dad's birthday.
Wow.
So, and that's what I remember. And he was dead, but I remembered it, and it was his birthday, and it's like, really? Man, we won a game as well. So, yeah, and I played 11 sides out in Kirkway and stuff like that, and yeah, and just being part of a family and feeling part of not just in the fellowships, but being part of the centre here and being part of it and being given the opportunity to develop and grow and have those challenging conversations that I might have had with you once or twice, Matt. But they were cool. And I look back on them now and think, I was reborn here. I was given that chance.
Seems like a perfect opportunity to play another track, doesn't it?
Yep.
This track is called To Sir With Love. It is the theme from James Clavell's 1960 film To Sir With Love. The song was written by Don Black and Mark London, husband of Lulu's longtime manager Marion Massey. Mickey Most produced the record, with Mike Leander arranging and conducting. In her recording, Lulu makes notable use of a melisma. To Sir With Love was initially recorded by Lulu with the Mindbenders, who also acted in the film. It was released as a single in the United States in 1967, and in October reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, where it remained for 5 weeks. The single ranked number 1 in Billboard's year-end chart, though the Monkees' I'm a Believer, which debuted in December 1966, spent most of its chart life in 1967, was the overall bigger hit. I'm a Believer was ranked number 5 on the same year-end chart of the same year. It became a gold record. R.E.M. and Natalie Merchant collaborated on a cover version during a live performance at MTV inaugural ball in January 1993, just after Bill Innocent, honestly, Clinton assumed the office of President of the United States. I'll have to check with our lawyers if I can get away with saying that, and I'll quickly end it there. Graham, do you want to say anything about the song?
He did tell her to sack his cook.
Cook, was it?
Sack the cook, he said.
Oh, the cook.
She misunderstood.
Ah, okay, I'm getting it now. What do you reckon, Graham?
I think you're probably right about Bill Clinton, yeah. But I don't need to answer solicitors, so I'm okay. Yeah.
To Sir With Love.
Fantastic song. I don't like R.E.M., don't like Michael Stipe. I think he's pretentious. Love the 10,000 Maniacs. Again, I learnt how... See, when I was here, I learned how not to be selfish in a really strange way. And I've got... I used to go out for a walk every morning. Down the beach, playing that song with Billy, who... He taught me how not to be selfish.
And Billy was he was Leicester's dog, but he became the East Coast Recovery dog, didn't he?
He did, aye.
Yeah.
And all he ever wanted me to do was to throw his ball. Give him some food and some water. He never asked me for anything else. But I gave that to him. And I used to play that song when I was walking along the beach with him, and I used to kick that tennis ball as far as I could into the sea, and he would go and get it and come back. And he brought it back to me every single time. Didn't matter what I did, he just brought it back. And that taught me to give without expecting anything back. And taught me a wee bit of humility as well, I think. And strangely enough, I still got pictures of him on my phone. It's weird. But he was a big part for me.
Yeah, a lot of people actually from the past, they often ask about Billy rather than anybody else.
Yeah. I used to go down downstairs and feed him and take him out and he was waiting for me in the morning, and I would take him out, and he never asked me for anything. All he wanted me to do was kick his ball and then go back and get it, and he'd bring it back to me. And he taught me I can give without expecting anything back.
What a beautiful.
And I played that for him.
What a beautiful message. Let's listen to the track.
Recovery Evolution, the recovery revolution. Keep an open mind.
So that's a tune. I don't think I've heard that one before, but that was a song for Billy. God bless him.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everybody loved Billy, and I think people often don't sort of realise how much animals mean to some people in that time that you spend with them and how much they touch other people's life. We've got Pickles now.
Yes, I've met Pickles,
You can see him on the website. He's a little bit smaller.
He is.
He's got
very
the
loud.
Body of a rabbit, but the heart of a lion.
Certainly would appear so. The Lion Rampart. That's a Scottish thing as well. See, back to that theme. Can fit it in anywhere.
So we touched a bit on spirituality there. So what are your sort of views, or what have you come to on that sort of God as you understand him spirituality? What does that mean to you?
Well, I don't think it matters what you call it. I don't think it matters. But there's something there. There's something there that's kept me alive through those dark times. There's something that's walked beside me. There's something that eventually, when I was prepared to open up my mind and listen and go in the right direction, and as long as my mind is open and I'm aware of that and I'm grateful and I'm thankful, all the things that I learnt in here through the big book and the 12 steps, and I still do my own awakenings every morning. Even today I still do them, and it might take 30 seconds and it might take 2 minutes, and it doesn't matter. There's something there that keeps guiding me, that tells me to do the right thing. And I choose to call it God because I didn't have another name for it. But that's my choice. It's my personal choice. And I believe it's not, for me, it's not what I say, but it's more about what I do and how I do it. So I can sit and I can preach out the big book, I can preach out the Bible, I can have other reasons. I've got a book called The Spirituality of Imperfection. I don't remember the author, but I pick that up every morning as well. And it's great. It's got teachings from all over the world, and it takes little parts from here and little bits from there and little bits from there, and it's fantastic. So I believe that I try to conduct myself and live my life as a good man and the best I can be, and be a good example to my kids, a good example to anybody that I come into contact with. People will remember me for my relationships. They'll not remember me for my car. They'll not remember me for my clothes. My acting career. They'll never remember for my
vast it is.
Yeah, or small. Yeah, but
they might. You don't know yet. It's not over yet.
Yeah. I think I might have peaked at River City, but I'm not sure. I might be a bit too old for James Bond.
Yeah.
But you never know. Roger Moore
they're looking for a new one.
They are.
They ain't had a Scottish one yet.
Sean Connery.
Apart from him.
Apart from the most famous one.
The biggest one. Yeah. And Roger Moore made a career out of just moving his eyebrows, and I've got eyebrows. So, yeah, but it's about living your life in a good manner. In an honest way. I try not to preach. I've been guilty of that in the past, but I don't think it's about that. I think it's about living your life and by example, clean house, trust God and help others, and those three things. Again, if you'd asked me 7, 8 years ago, I'd have said, it's just catchphrases, isn't it? It's just little nuggets that you throw in, and but it's not. It's true. It's true, and that's a miracle, for me to be sitting here today doing this from where I was, and I can sit and have a laugh with you. I can have a laugh at myself because I've got over myself. I ain't that worried about whether I please people or no. I just tell it how it is, because some people don't like the truth, but the truth doesn't care because it's still the truth, and all those things. So and I say my prayers every morning. I say my prayers every night, and I'm praying just to be the best I can be and point me in the right direction, and I'll do my best. That's it. But there is something in this universe that keeps us all going.
Would you say you're a big booker? Do you kind of like the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous? Do you?
So I love the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's in my room, in my bed and breakfast, because I don't go anywhere without it, and it's my second one, because I lost my first one, but it's got the highlighted bits in it where I went through my book study. You know, it's got a couple of coffee stains on it and a bit of chewing gum marks, but that's mine. It's mine. It's my toolbox, and I can open it up at any point, and it doesn't matter where I open up it. It's the right bit.
How many years did you spend in Lowestoft with us?
3.5, I think, from when I came in and was fortunate enough to get a wee job here with you guys and help develop what we had, and then the time came for me. Yeah,
I was going to say, what was it that made you decide to go back to Scotland?
So I think I had a conversation with you, Lester, at one point, and we didn't know. We don't know what made me go back, but something did, and if it was God, then it was God, but it was the right thing to do.
Well, I kind of remember that you kind of thought you got your kids, and that you wanted to spend more time with them, and putting input in their lives, and your wife, what was her name again? Sorry, Lorna, that you felt like you owed her. Yeah,
but I didn't know that she was ill.
No, but you didn't. But you wanted to go and give her support. I remember that.
Absolutely. So it was about giving back, and I just felt the time was right. Maybe I felt that I was starting to become the father that I always wanted to be.
Yeah, I think that was it, mate. I remember you thought you just want to put some more input into your kids' lives and be there,
and be part of it, and take what I'd learned here and taking that opportunity that I was given here and taking it back and giving back to them, if you like. Some of those, because I used to go up and down, as you know. I used to drive up and down for 3 or 4 days at a time, and the journey up was always a bit difficult, and the journey back was always a bit difficult, but I got through them all, and being up there for 3 or 4 days at a time was maybe breaking me back into, so that people, so that the kids could see that I was maybe different, although I'm not sure how much they know. I've had that conversation with my daughter. She's 18. My son, 15, he doesn't care. He just got his dad. But my daughter asks me questions, which is really cool, and I can be honest with her, and I'm given the opportunity to help as well. So I took back something that not an awful lot of people have, which is this grounding and this knowledge that I got here, and can share it back in Scotland, because we don't have an ECR in Scotland, and at times I can be a little bit, I suppose, single-minded about what recovery is. But then again, I'm not being single-minded, I'm just going on what it tells me in that book.
Yeah, it can be like that. If you try and just do what you believe works, people can think you're a bit fanatical because you've got a kind of a tried and tested process.
But it works.
Well, and you're the proof of that, aren't you?
It works. So if people don't want to hear it, that's cool. That's up to them, but it works.
And it is difficult, actually, that, isn't it? Because it's like, in the big book it says, rarely have we seen a person fail who thoroughly followed their path. And I can't remember if I said this on another podcast we did or not, but it's like, it's one of those places in the big book where I kind of have to disagree, but not in a detrimental way. It's like, in my experience, I've never seen anyone fail who thoroughly followed the path.
Absolutely.
But what I have seen is hundreds of people fail who didn't follow the path.
Yeah. Well, the history says, what I've heard is that Bill Wilson did write it as never, but they thought that because some alcoholics and addicts are possibly egotistical.
No, take that back.
Possibly, I said, that they may try and prove it wrong.
It might be liable. Therefore, it's a bit controversial.
It is.
They thought that, is it? I'm sorry, I didn't realise they were sensitive, selfish people. So in that state. So that's what they reckon. That's why they put it to rarely than never.
But it's right. So it's right. You can argue till the cows come home. It's right. And in my experience, it works.
And so what is your life like now?
That's pretty cool, yeah.
And, I guess at the beginning we talked about that you sort of felt a little bit inferior and You didn't feel enough loved in your life.
Yeah.
How do you feel about them sort of issues now? Because they're quite core things for a person.
I suppose that I don't think those emotions have completely gone, and then they might never, but I have the ability to manage them. I've got the tools to manage them on a daily basis. So that selfishness and that self-pity and that poor me, I don't really live with that. I feel I'm the best that I can be at this moment in time, and that's all that matters. End of. Other people's opinions really didn't matter, because I'm the only one that lives with me 24/7. So my opinion of myself is what matters, and I'm doing the best I can every single day.
That's an excellent point to go for our next track, because the title of it as well, it's called Who You Are,
Yeah.
by Twin Atlantic. And I'm seeing a theme here. If I just read this, Twin Atlantic are a Scottish alternative rock band from Glasgow, Scotland. We must be got through every single band in Scotland now.
Do they only have
only
Scottish-
just started.
Do they have English music in Scotland?
I just played you Michael Stipe. He's American. What else do you want? I'm multicultural.
Well,
me.
Scottish American.
He's Scottish. Yeah.
They have released 4 albums: Vivarium, Free, Great Divide and GLA. Their highest charting singles are Heart and Soul and Brothers and Sisters from the album Great Divide, released in 2015. On the 2nd of June 2016, Annie Mac premiered No Sleep as the hottest record in the world on BBC Radio 1 and announced their new album titled GLA, subsequently released on the 9th of September 2016. So why this song, Graham?
So this is a cover version, and it's not one of theirs. It's not critically acclaimed of theirs. It's nothing like that. But there's a line in it. There's a couple of lines in it where you've got a Scottish guy singing, "That's my home," and I used to play this when I was driving back to Scotland to see my kids, and the tears were, and I would scream that at the top of my voice, and I think I'm a better singer than him.
Oh, we might have to try that in a minute. Let's check this one out.
Recovery Evolution, the recovery revolution. Keep an open mind.
Well, I never heard that tune before either, but did you want to expand on that a little bit after listening to it?
Yeah, I think it's a quite emotional song for me, and for me, there's some bits in there talking about, it's okay to be okay. It's also okay not to be okay. So, but you've got somebody to talk to. You've got ways of dealing with those things nowadays. And yeah, I used to sing that song. I'd sing my heart out driving back up to Scotland with the Scottish guys singing "That's My Home," blasting that out. And it is.
Yeah.
And being an actor and a man of in the
Famous actor.
in the entertainment industry, and the fact that you did just now say that you think you've got a better voice than him. I wonder if you want to take the next 20 seconds and maybe show the listeners what kind of voice you've got.
No.
Okay, moving on.
And he's famous, just not a lot of people know it.
Yet. I'm famous at my own lunchtime.
And so, not looking for a plug for ECR, which I'm not, just in recovery generally, what would be your top tips for somebody that's not really understanding recovery, or got a drink problem that may be listening to this? What advice could you give them as your top tips?
Listen to the guidance. Listen to what you're told. Sometimes it's about putting one foot in front of the other every day and just
This is
breathing.
like going to a 12-step meeting and...
Totally. So 12-step meetings are, for me, where you get the opportunity at the beginning to hear about other people and relate to what other people are doing, what other people are going through, and hearing about how people are getting well. Later on, it's about going and sharing how you got well. So you get something from the meetings and you give something back, and that's what I try to do. So you have to follow what it says. So I still, to this day, do my awakenings when I get up in the morning. I still do a step 10. I still do my meditation. I do my readings. And it tells me every single day to try to be honest. And if you're struggling, put your hand out and ask for help, because there's somebody there. There's always somebody there that can help you. And embrace the opportunities and follow those simple steps. And they're simple. They were only complicated by the people that tried to do them. So I complicated them as best I could. I think that might be called avoidance in some areas. But when I decided to, keep it simple and just do what it says on the tin, then the tin starts to deliver. The 12 steps, they didn't save my life, because that's flippant to say that. What they did is they gave me an opportunity to live my life. They gave me the tools to live 24 hours at a time and be the best that I can be.
What is it in recovery that would most give you like a gratitude attack? What is it you're most sort of grateful for in what your recovery's given you that you wouldn't have in your life if you didn't find recovery?
Well, they're sitting on the beach at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
That's been going well for you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting the opportunity to be part of them, getting the opportunity to spend time with them, having that ability. If you go back to 2009, 2010, and we're sitting here in 2018, I can't believe that on Monday morning I woke up at 4 o'clock, woke my son up. That was entertaining for a 15-year-old lad. Yeah. But he got up because he wanted to come back. He wanted to be here with his dad. He wanted to come back to Lowestoft with his dad. And then going picking up my daughter at 5:30 from my mum's and putting them in the car and having to listen to their music all the way down on their iPhones through my car stereo, which was torture. Because I want to put but just being there with them and listening to them, interacting and having a laugh and providing for them and being there for them and being able to, be able to make amends to their mum and being by her side when she needed me, and getting that opportunity. But recovery for me is about being me and being the best I can and giving back as much as I can. And how much a part ECR played in that, is immeasurable.
I know it doesn't seem long since we listened to that last track, but I do want to introduce this last track now because of what Graham just said. I mean, he's picked a song by a band called Embrace, and they're certainly one of my favourite bands. And Graham, we were just discussing it kind of off tape as well. And this particular song that Graham's picked is called Ashes. And I don't want to introduce it. I know what the song's about. I think I know what the song's about anyway. And it goes to what Graham was just saying there. So I'm going to introduce it and then I'll get Graham just to talk a little bit about it. So it's called Ashes by Embrace. It's the second single from English rock band Embrace's fourth album called Out of Nothing. This release was publicised by a fan campaign called GATNO, which stands for Get Ashes to Number 1. The song reached number 11. Ashes was released to American radio on March 1st, 2005. The B-side, just for a bit of trivia, was called Flaming Red Hair, and it started life as a cover version of Michael Jackson's Thriller. And me personally, I don't think there's many bands that can do an anthem as well as Embrace. But why this song, Graham?
Ashes is about rising up again. That's what it's all about. It's about being reborn. It's about re-establishing yourself, if you like, and that's how I feel throughout my recovery. I feel as if I've been reborn and I've risen. That phoenix has risen from the flames. 3 months ago, I went to the Glasgow ABC, which is pretty rough, but it's cool. And I went to see this band play live again, and I've seen them 5 or 6 times now. And I stood in that pavilion watching these guys playing this song with my 2 kids beside me. Just an incredible moment, and that opportunity to share that with them and see them enjoying themselves. Just, it's worth every minute. Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Let's listen to this track, buddy.
Recovery Evolution, the recovery revolution. Keep an open mind.
Well, another great tune there, Graham.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for that. Is that the last one, was it?
That was the last track.
That was the last one. So, apparently you're writing a book.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Tell us a bit about that. That's a bit of an achievement.
It sort of ties into a little bit. It came from having left Lowestoft and going back to Scotland and having so many memories, but also realising that there was an awful lot of stuff I wanted to put down on paper. So I got a laptop and I fired it up and I thought, I'm going to call this. I'm going to name every chapter after a song in my life. So we've got, Bullets and Blue Eyes. The first chapter is Too Much Too Young for the specials, and you're going like this. I'm going to have that. That's chapter 1. We'll call it that. That's a great idea. And I've got it written there, and I've got all the titles for the chapters, and I've started parts of it. And I'll get there eventually with it, and I'll do it. And you know what? It'll be what it'll be, and I don't care if anybody never reads it. It's for me.
What inspired it then? What made you think of that?
I haven't got the faint, because I think that music has been a big part of my life, it's emotive and it's emotional, and it stimulates emotions in me. Different songs and different things mean different at different parts of my life. Just like we've done today, I have an attachment to that, and it brings back these emotions which I used to shy away from and didn't like, but now I embrace them. Yeah. So I embrace that. I have emotions. I'm entitled to cry. I can cry. I can laugh. And you know what? Doesn't mean a thing. It just means something to me. And if I can share that with other people, and I can go out there and I can share what I've learnt about myself and help some one person to go in the right direction, then that's all that's ever been asked of me. And I try to do that.
Do you do that? Do you sponsor people?
Yeah.
Recovery, yeah.
Yeah, so up in Scotland, as I said, sometimes I don't know if it's in Scotland. I suppose it's all over. I try not to preach as best I can. It's difficult. It's difficult because the big book works. Yeah, and the big book is given, along with a lot of help from lots of people, has given me the opportunity. So, yeah, I've got a couple of sponsors. I think I'd always point people in the direction down here. And I've done that just recently. There's a woman up in Scotland that needs some help, and we've pointed her down here. And she'll come back up to Scotland, hopefully with the same tools that I have, if she follows the direction that she's given here and follows it properly, then she'll come back up and she'll go on to do good things, and that's what we're here for. Carry that message.
Yep. That's kind of what we'll see. Yeah, because it is difficult, isn't it? Sometimes you've got a program that works, and I know, people always want to balance that up with they've got other things that work, and that's like fair enough, but this is the path that we follow.
Well, other things didn't work for me. This worked for me, so then, why am I going to change it?
Well, and it's when you do what it says,
of course,
and you get the outcome that it says you're going to get over multiple years. It's hard not to want to tell people about it that are suffering and dying and struggling and destroying themselves and their families. It's more than anything, you want other people to be able to get it and do it and get the benefits that we all get from it. So
I think that's the thing, as soon as you're kind of involved with the 12-step program, what you get used to seeing is miracles.
Yeah.
That's it. You just get used to seeing them.
Yeah.
In your own life and other people's life.
Yeah.
I don't think I can't imagine. I'm sure there may be other professions or things where other people see. I'm sure like doctors maybe see miracles on a daily basis, but I can't imagine there's many certain philosophies or treatments, for want of a better word, for anything where you get to see regular daily miracles with people who put this program into action.
People completely restored.
Absolutely. And it's like sort of Graham's talking here. I mean, when you think about 9 years is not a long time, but he's had his children back in his life a lot quicker than that. But, listening to Graham talking and watching the tears come up in his eyes when he's talking about the fact that right now his two children are grown-up children are down the beach right now, but only a few years ago, they weren't in your life anymore.
No.
You didn't have them, you know. You had nothing. So it is a pure miracle. You know? And it's not just getting your kids back. It's not just getting a relationship back. It's like, so you mentioned it earlier. I can't remember how you put it actually, but it's your life. It's not like getting your old life back. It's getting a completely new life.
Absolutely, you're reborn. You have the opportunity to live a life that you didn't have before.
Yeah,
and it's not about getting, as you say, getting your old life back. Yeah. It's about getting the opportunity and being given the tools to create a new life.
And do you know, this little story just came to my head. I'll just say it quickly. I know we've been on for quite some time already, and I hope I'm quoting it right. I'm sorry if someone sees any fault in this, they'll contact us. But I believe it was by a woman called Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and people might know her even if they don't think they know her, because if anyone's ever had any kind of grief counselling or anything, she was the woman that first formulated a thing called the 5 stages of grief, and she spent 50 years of working in palliative care, which must have been harsh in itself. But I think it was in her 3rd book, and she was writing about how you'd expect people to say on their deathbed, you know, well, I wish I wouldn't have bothered saving that £200,000 or whatever. I wish I'd have gone to see my brother more in Australia, or I'd have bought myself that Ferrari I always wanted, or whatever it may be. But she said that weren't the reality what she saw. What the reality she saw was people on their deathbed, which was tragic. It makes me kind of want to cry just saying it out loud again, but it's like the amount of people she saw that were basically saying this, I don't even know who I am. And I think that's one of the most scariest thoughts ever, of actually going through this life and getting to your deathbed and having that realisation that you've kind of lived a lie. You know, you're lying to yourself. And I think that's the thing that recovery, I see, gives myself, but gives other people. It gives them a fresh start where they're actually getting to have a relationship with themselves. And some people might call that God, but it's certainly to have a deep relationship with yourself.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes.
Yeah. Well, when I talk to people when they come to have a look around, I always say this: look, our job is to give you a life-changing experience. That's our job, and we know how to do that. But in order to change your life, we've got to change your mind.
Yeah.
And so if you give us the time to put some new information in your mind, then you'll be able to change your life. And I think once people realise that's actually happening and in a positive way, which is what we see, then our hope is that they become more willing to seek that for themselves and practice this process that's outlined in the 12-step program. But again, it's always sort of a bit conscious that, you know, that's just our way of doing it. There is other ways. I just don't know what they are, and I don't do. I might do this way, and I get everything I need from that. So, you know, there is other ways. We just have a way that works. And actually, the fact that you've said that this is maybe possibly the only way that works, and then now there's a helicopter going over. It's a military helicopter. I think you've said the wrong word, Lester. It's controversial. Got to stop doing this.
It's not. That's not a military. That's probably my.
Oh, is that your helicopter?
Yeah, that's my. That's my lift. I might have another job later today.
And it also does seem to be getting much easier to be controversial these days.
Doesn't it?
You used to have to work at it. But
I think my filters been removed at times.
Anyway, Graham, thanks for driving all the way down from Scotland
just to see you. Yeah. I'll give you a bill for my petrol.
And you can add this to your resume that you've done the 4th podcast at ECR.
Well, it's disappointing I wasn't the first, but that's okay.
You were down to be the first, but you couldn't get down. You were doing a shoot, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I was. Yeah, I was back in my case. Thank you. It's been emotional, but it's been absolutely fantastic and enlightening once again, and I love being here.
Yeah, we love you being here, mate.
Absolute pleasure.
It's like all being a part of a family, isn't it? Recovery, once you've we've gone down the road together.
Well, I was just thinking that for you, because how long ago was it you were last here?
Last year, I was here last year for a couple of days.
But many months ago then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember sitting in the
It was sitting there, yeah.
Wasn't it? And I was just thinking that when I saw Graham literally like a couple of hours ago, and it's like that time didn't exist. Yeah. Every time I see Graham, it's just like family again, isn't it?
Yes.
You know,
it's my spiritual home. This is where my spiritual home is. This is where I found it. And this is where I come back. Yeah. Just to say thank you.
It's beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Well, I'd just like to also just finish off by saying that East Coast Recovery is an addiction healing centre, and our purpose of being is to try and help people that are struggling or suffering with addiction. If you have a family member with an addiction problem, you can look us up on our website and give us a call. We're always more than happy to offer advice or any other help or give you any direction that we can. Thank you very much for listening, and please come back and listen to some more of our podcasts.
Thank you. See you later.
Recovery Evolution, the recovery revolution. Keep an open mind.